Hey guys, this video is a continuation of the other video where you're working the halp market. If you haven't seen that video yet, I encourage you to go see it, otherwise you miss out on some really important information. A link will be provided for you guys just in case in the description. In this video we're going to be talking about a bunch of different tips that I may have missed the first time, failed to mention it, or maybe I was saving it for you guys because I knew you'd come back. In the background, there's going to be a montage of me working the market, finding cards that are really cheap, and when you see me putting them on the auction house with like a certain amount of money as the buy now, that's pretty much what I ended up selling it for. Any kind of other cards that didn't end up selling, I did not put in this video. This first tip is for all you poor people out there. You can win one of my no, wait, that's not. I mean, you can win one of my No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The first tip is brought to you by my friend Jimmy, my buddy old pal, where he puts the buy now price at 500 or 501 because he's like that. He calls it the 1501 trick. So you set the buy now price at 501 and make sure that you're looking for gold cards and that they're rare cards. And what ends up happening is any cards that you see, you buy instantly because at minimum they're worth 500. You can quick sell them for 500 and people put them on less than that. But you can sell them on the auction house normally for maybe a little bit more than that. And at the same time, you can also find some pretty incredible steals. My friend Jimmy here found a Kessel who goes for about 30k for about 500. Someone found a Shea Weber who goes for like 40k. I think he also found a Patches for about 20k. So anything could happen if you use that method. Now, the second tip I want to talk about is based on the 59-minute method that I talked about in the other video. I'm going to call it the 1 hour method. Doesn't matter. Same crap. So what you want to do is you want to set the buy now minimum and maximum near the amount of coins that you have so that you're only looking for things that you can buy. And again, you want to set the settings so you're looking for gold and rare cards. But before you do that, you want to set it an even higher amount, maybe like double your coin value, so that you can see what kind of cards are worth more than what you have if you're unsure. Of course, if you see a Crosby for like 10k, you're gonna buy him, but some of the other cases might not be so obvious. So you want to see what's around I guess the market that you're dealing with. So whenever you see those cards that are worth more than what you're looking for, you should just instantly think that's going to be a steal, and you should just go and buy it. You should also get a feel for how the button process is, where you're actually choosing a card, going to buy now, and actually buying it. This is so that you're prepared for when there's a steal ready to be had. And throughout the day, there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing that you're doing in this case, so you want to make sure that you're quick on the trigger. This is so that you're prepared for when there's a steal ready to be had. Also, don't be discouraged like me if you don't really get anything pretty quickly. You gotta just have patience, which I didn't have for this route. That's why I went with the hard-working route, that I'm pretty much showing you guys in the montage. So tip number 3 is if you don't have a lot of money and you find a steal like in the 59th minute, make sure that you put the new card's price 1,000 or 2,000 lower than anyone else so that it has a chance to sell quickly. You want to be able to just have money on you at all times just in case there's like a really good steal at some point, or it just kind of gives you something to do. Because if you're sitting on all cards waiting to be sold in the auction house, well, you might not have anything to do. Going along that similar idea there, we're going to head into tip number 4, which is if your card isn't selling or it's taken a while to sell, go lower its price by a little bit every certain period of time. So if you're dealing with a 10,000 value card or more and it's struggling to sell, just lower it by about 1,000 every few hours or every day. But of course, make sure that there's like a minimum threshold, because you don't want it to go down to like $100 for a card that you paid like 100K for. But that would never happen. But if it does, just keep that in mind. And so that'll help you sell your card much easier. Tip number 5 is don't spend all of your money on one card unless you know it can sell instantly because it was a good steal. And then that'll go back to the other tip I mentioned earlier, where you should sell it far below everyone else's price. Because this again goes back to a different tip where I said if you don't have money, you don't have anything to do, and you're pretty much not gonna make money that way. At the same time, you also don't want to have all your money in one type of card. So in the past, I showed you guys a video where I had like 20 copies of one card. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to sell those cards, because you can only sell them pretty much 1 or 2 at a time, or maybe try to manipulate the market a little bit. That's a different story for another time. So you want to make sure that you diversify and have a bunch of different cards to sell at one time. But one thing that you can do with multiple copies of cards is control the market with the monopoly. So what I did earlier was I bought all the Shane Gostis bears, ghost bears that I could find for about like 25 to 30K, and I was selling them pretty easily and pretty quickly for 35K, and not a lot of other people were selling it for that much. So I pretty much had a monopoly right there, and you can do that with a bunch of different cards as long as they're worthwhile. The next thing I want to talk about is auction time or auction duration. When you're searching for cards that you want to flip, you should only be looking before a specified auction duration. So, for instance, if there are auctions with like 9 or 10 hours remaining, you don't want to look at those, because those auctions have been up for at least 3 hours already, because the closest auction duration is 12 hours. So you want to look for auctions that are closest to 1 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, and 3 days. Finally, I want to talk about trade offers. Trade offers can be a good thing as long as it's a good deal for you. There are a lot of sleazy people out there that want to trick you into accepting a trade offer where they're like missing a zero. So make sure that you are looking at it very carefully. The other thing is, it also has to be a good deal. I've gotten some trade offers where the person offered me more value with their cards than what I was trying to sell for. So you want to take those kind of trade offers, but you want to look at the value of those cards as well. Keep in mind that it might also be hard to sell those cards that are being given to you. And those are all the tips that I have for you guys this time. Hopefully they help you out. With that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Also, don't mind like the 1 or 2 clips that I had to put in twice, just because I spent too much time talking.